Hi there, welcome back to the Happy Moms Project. Thank you for once again spending time with me. It means the world to me to hear from you when you tell me how the episodes have impacted your life. That is why I'm doing this, for us to grow together, to move from surviving into thriving. I know you can do it. I believe in you. Today's episode is a bit of a love letter to the moms out there who are constantly being bombarded with advice from podcasts, social media, friends, books, even strangers on the internet, and sometimes are left feeling like they're not doing enough. If that's you, I want you to breathe for a second, calm that nervous system, because I think this episode is going to lift so much of that weight off your shoulders. Here's the thing. I love self-development. I love structure. I'm super type A. I love discipline. I believe in making sacrifices to become better. To my core, I believe that we are the product of the choices that we make daily. I built a multi-seven-figure business with this mindset. I lost my baby weight with this mindset. I got back in shape with this mindset. I have overcome every bad thing that has been thrown my way with this mindset. But I also believe in grace. And lately, I've realized how important it is to filter advice through the lens of your life, especially as a mom. I actually got the idea for this episode after listening to a podcast this past week. And the host, who is amazing, she's smart, and I really do think she truly means well. Like, you can tell she really cares about her audience. She was talking about the importance of sleep and how we need to prioritize it, about how it's foundational for healing, for productivity, for your health. And I'm not going to lie, this triggered me a little bit because I feel like I haven't gotten sleep in like a year. And the truth is that she's not wrong. I agree with everything she said. But the version of me listening to that episode, the mom version of me who still has nights where I wake up multiple times, who can't always go to bed early because I'm catching up on work or picking up the house, or maybe finally watching an episode of a show in peace, that version of me just sat there thinking like, okay, cool. I'll get sleep in like 2030. And the craziest part is that before I became a mom, I used to give advice like that. And I meant well. I really thought I understood. But now I know that advice without context can be more damaging than helpful. And by the way, I want to make it very clear that this is not about shutting out advice completely. I think we need guidance. We need reminders. We need inspiration. But we also need to remember advice is not a prescription. It's a suggestion. And it needs to be filtered through your reality. If you're in the newborn season, or maybe you're in a high stress work season, or you're solo parenting, dealing with health issues, struggling with mental health, your version of success or self-care or discipline might look completely different right now. And that's okay. It's not about lowering your standard. It's about being realistic and being kind to yourself. So when someone gives you advice, instead of throwing it out completely or dismissing it or getting upset that someone would suggest that without realizing, oh, you're going through, ask yourself, how can I make this work for me in this season? Because chances are you can adjust this advice or a piece of it to fit your current needs. I like to believe that people truly mean well when they give advice. So give them the benefit of the doubt and see if what they're suggesting is feasible in any type of way. Ask yourself, what is one small way that I can move towards that goal without shaming myself for not doing it perfectly? Remember, we're all different backgrounds, different traumas, different wiring. What works for some does not work for others, and that's okay. But maybe there's, again, something you can take from the advice, especially if the person giving it is living their life in a way that you find healthy and admirable. That is a big one for me. I only take advice from people who are living how I want to live. If the advice is coming from someone who dwells in negativity, who isn't mindful of what they say or who they say it to, or simply just doesn't have a good vibe, I thank them, but it goes in one ear and out the other. So make sure you're not stressing yourself out by listening to someone who just doesn't have the it that you want. And of course, ask yourself if this advice is actually helpful or if it's making you feel inadequate. I get bombarded with unsolicited advice all the time. And sometimes I just flat out have to say, like, that doesn't work for me, especially in the season that I'm in. Again, the key is to be realistic about your situation. If the wellness influencer says, wake up at 5 a.m. and that's not possible for you, ask, can I give myself 10 minutes before my kids get up instead? If someone says, meal prep your whole week, maybe you just prep one dinner. That's still a win. If someone says you need 8 hours of sleep uninterrupted, and that just sounds like a literal fairy tale right now, like it does to me, focus on creating some type of peace and quiet before bed. Even if it's 15 minutes. I personally love to meditate, to do a yoga nidra. Judy Passos talked about these on our very first episode, or just sit quietly for a couple minutes. One of my favorite apps that helps me with this is Calm. You do have to pay for it, but honestly, skip out on Starbucks a couple times if the budget is tight, because having this app is so worth it. Remember, you're not failing because you can't do what someone with 0 kids and unlimited time can do. You're not lazy. You're not falling behind. You're doing what works for you, and that's the point. Take the advice, but make it yours. Let it serve you, not shame you. So the next time you hear a tip that sounds amazing in theory, but you know it's completely out of reach for you right now, pause. Ask yourself, is this realistic for me right now? And if it's not, that doesn't mean you're broken or behind. It just means that you're a mom or you're in a season and you're doing your best. And that, trust me, that's more than enough. Hopefully this episode gave you a little bit of permission to just breathe a little easier and not get overwhelmed by advice. And if you know another parent who needs a reminder like this, please share it with them. And as always, tag me on Instagram. I love hearing from you and walking through this journey together. Until next time, happy mom, happy baby. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your precious time with me today. I know your time is gold, and I'm truly so honored that you chose to spend it here. If this episode spoke to you, don't forget to hit subscribe so we can stay connected. And if you know a parent who needs to hear this, please share it with them, because none of us are in this alone. I'll be right here next week with more tips, stories, and reminders that you matter. Until then, remember, taking care of yourself isn't just for you, it's for your kids, for your family, and for your sanity. You're doing an amazing job. Take care of yourself and keep making space for your happiness.